Tokyo, Japan. Setagaya Award. March 1972. Thursday afternoon, 3 o'clock. A wooden building sits behind a stone wall. Old construction, pre-war, survived bombing, occupation, modernization. The Yamamoto family dojo, 300 years old, maintained by 7 generations of samurai sword masters. Bruce Lee stands outside the entrance. 29 years old, he's in Japan studying. A mutual contact in Hong Kong arranged this introduction. Someone rare, someone who represents a dying tradition. Bruce removes his shoes, steps inside. Tatami mats, wooden beams darkened by age, shoji screens, calligraphy scrolls, ancestral swords mounted on walls. This isn't a commercial school. This is a family temple to martial tradition. 7 students kneel formally, all men, all wearing traditional hakama. A woman enters, Keiko Yamamoto, 42. 5, 6. Traditional hakama, white training jacket. Hair pulled back severely. She carries herself with absolute authority. This is her dojo, her family's legacy. She stops before Bruce, bows formally. Deep bow. Bruce returns it equally. Keiko speaks in accented English. Mr. Lee, welcome to Yamamoto Dojo. My family is honored to receive you. Bruce says, the honor is mine. Thank you for allowing me to visit. They sit formally, seiza position. Kneeling, Bruce maintains it, despite discomfort, showing respect. Keiko says, my contact speaks highly of your skill, your philosophy. He suggested we might find value in meeting. Bruce nods. I'm here to learn. Japan has deep martial tradition. Keiko says, you also teach. You have your own methods. May I ask your understanding of sword? Bruce says, my training is primarily empty hand. I've studied some weapon concepts, but I don't claim sword expertise. Keiko says, would you like to see classical kenjutsu, real samurai sword technique? Bruce says, very much. Keiko stands, walks to the wall, removes a sword. Real katana, family heirloom. The blade catches light. This is a weapon designed to kill. Keiko moves to center, takes stance. The 7 students remain kneeling. Bruce stands to the side. Subscribe, turn on notifications, like the video, and comment. More true Bruce Lee stories are coming. Keiko demonstrates. Cuts, precise, efficient. Each movement refined over centuries. Not theatrical. Deadly efficient. Battlefield technique, designed to kill armored opponents. 700 years of refinement. She executes several cuts, each one perfect. She stops. Returns to neutral stance. This is kenjutsu, classical technique, not sport. Combat method refined over 700 years. Bruce nods. It's beautiful. The efficiency is clear. Keiko says, you demonstrate impressive empty hand techniques. I've seen recordings. She pauses. But I must speak honestly. Samurai sword has 700 years of combat refinement. Empty hands cannot touch proper sword technique. This is not disrespect. This is reality. The distance advantage alone makes it impossible. Bruce considers. You're correct that the sword has enormous advantage. Distance, lethality, speed, all true. Keiko nods. Then you understand. Bruce says carefully, may I demonstrate something? Not to challenge your skill, just to show a principle about structure and timing. Keiko studies him. What principle? Bruce says that weapons are controlled by the person wielding them, and people have structure, Structure can be controlled regardless of what they're holding. Keiko considers. You wish to demonstrate against the sword, Bruce says, with your permission. Keiko says, you understand this is a real blade? If you move incorrectly, you will be cut. I am trained to complete the cut, once initiated, Bruce says. I understand the risk. Keiko looks at her students. They're tense. She looks back at Bruce. Very well. I will attack with full commitment. Real speed. Real intent. Bruce says, understood. They move to center. Keiko takes position. Sword raised. Classical offensive stance. Bruce stands relaxed. No guard. Hands at sides. The 7 students barely breathe. A real sword. A master swordswoman. If Bruce miscalculates, he could be maimed or killed, Keiko says. Ready? Bruce nods. Keiko moves. Full speed. Full commitment. 700 years of technique in one motion. The sword cuts downward, targeting Bruce's shoulder. The blade is fast. Very fast. Bruce's hand moves to Keiko's wrist, the wrist holding the sword. Before the cut completes, his fingers wrap around her wrist. Light pressure. The sword stops. Not from strength, from structure. Bruce controls the wrist position. His other hand touches Keiko's elbow. Light pressure. Keiko's structure breaks. Balance shifts. The sword wavers. Bruce releases immediately. Steps back. Keiko stands. Sword still raised. Her eyes are different. Wide. Processing. She lowers the sword slowly. Again she says, I need to understand. Bruce nods. Keiko raises the sword. Different attack angle. Horizontal cut. Faster. The blade sweeps toward Bruce's ribs. Lethal trajectory. Bruce steps inside. Closer. Too close for the blade to generate power. His hand finds her wrist. Controls it. His other hand touches her shoulder. Keiko's entire structure breaks. Her feet leave position. The sword loses power. Bruce releases. Steps back. Keiko stands breathing harder. Not from exertion, from realization. Twice, against 2 attacks. Both times Bruce controlled her structure before the cut could complete. She sheaths the sword, turns to Bruce. Then bows, deep bow, the kind reserved for masters. When she rises, her expression has changed. I have trained 40 years. My father trained me from childhood. 7 generations of swordmasters. In 40 years, no one has shown me what you just demonstrated. Bruce says, you are a master. Your technique is perfect. What I demonstrated isn't superiority. It's a different principle. Understanding structure. When I controlled your structure, the sword became secondary. Keiko nods slowly. In all my training, we focus on sword technique, footwork, cutting angles, distance. But we never considered someone attacking our structure directly, bypassing the weapon. Bruce says, your training isn't wrong. For sword versus sword, it's perfect. What I showed is a specific response from empty hands. It's different. Keiko turns to her students, says in Japanese, then translates. I told them they witnessed something rare, a principle our tradition hasn't encountered. She looks at Bruce. Would you teach us? Not to replace our training, but to add this understanding. Bruce says, I'd be honored, but I'd also like to learn from you. Your sword technique is refined in ways I don't understand. Perhaps we can exchange knowledge. Keiko smiles. First smile. That would be valuable. When can you return? Bruce says, I'm in Tokyo for 2 more weeks. Keiko says, tomorrow, same time. They bow, formal, respectful. As Bruce prepares to leave, Keiko asks, "Why did you show me this? You could have kept this principle to yourself." Bruce says, "Because knowledge should be shared. Because I believe all martial arts are connected at fundamental levels. Because you received me with respect that deserves respect in return." Keiko nods. "You are not like other martial artists. Most want to prove superiority. You want to understand connection." Bruce says, "I spent years trying to prove superiority. It's exhausting. Understanding connection is more valuable." Keiko says, "My father told me that before he died, the best martial artists see beyond style, understand principles that transcend technique. Today you showed me how to think beyond my tradition." Bruce bows. "Your father was wise." Bruce returns the next day, and the day after, 6 sessions over 2 weeks. Bruce teaches structure, sensitivity, how to control position. Keiko teaches mai, distance and timing from kenjutsu, about commitment in attacks. Both learn, both grow. When Bruce prepares to leave Tokyo, Keiko presents a gift, a small tanto knife. Family, heirloom. This represents our family's gratitude. You gave us understanding we didn't have. This knife has been in our family 300 years. Bruce is overwhelmed. "I can't accept something so valuable." Keiko says, "You already have. By teaching us, by sharing openly, by treating our tradition with respect, while showing us our blind spots. The knife is just a symbol." Bruce accepts. Years later, after Bruce's death, Keiko speaks about him. "Bruce Lee showed me something I trained 40 years without seeing, that weapons are controlled by people, that structure matters more than steel. He did this respectfully, with honor, without ego. That's mastery." She continues. "Some ask if I felt defeated. I didn't. I felt educated. He didn't defeat my sword technique. He showed me a principle my tradition hadn't explored. That's a gift, not a defeat." The 7 students tell the story occasionally. "Our teacher demonstrated perfect sword technique. He controlled her structure before her cuts could complete. Not with strength, with understanding. We watched a female samurai master and a Chinese martial artist find common ground. That's rarer than any technique." One student says years later, "People focus on sword versus empty hands. That's not what mattered. What mattered was watching 2 masters from different traditions recognize each other, respect each other, learn from each other. That's what real martial arts is about." That afternoon in Tokyo, March 1972, a 300-year-old dojo, a female samurai master with a katana, a Chinese martial artist with empty hands, 7 witnesses, 2 demonstrations that proved structure matters more than weapons, that principles transcend tradition. Keiko Yamamoto continued teaching until her death in 2001. She incorporated what Bruce taught into her curriculum, not replacing sword technique, enhancing it. She always credited Bruce, always spoke of him with reverence, always said meeting him changed how she understood martial arts. Bruce kept the tanto knife until his death. Linda Lee said Bruce treasured it, said it represented mutual respect between traditions, that mastery exists in many forms, that the best teachers remain students. 7 witnesses saw a principle demonstrated, a principle connecting Japanese sword tradition with Chinese martial philosophy, that showed 2 masters from different worlds recognizing the same fundamental truth, that proved the best martial arts moments aren't about defeating someone. They're about understanding across difference. Sometimes the strongest demonstration isn't proving you can win. It's showing someone something they've never seen, something that expands their understanding. Bruce Lee gave that to Keiko Yamamoto. She gave him knowledge about sword principles. Both walked away richer. Both changed. That's what 7 witnesses saw. Not a fight. Not a competition. 2 masters meeting, learning, growing, respecting. That's martial arts at its highest level. That's what survives when technique is forgotten. That's what matters decades later. Subscribe. Enable notifications. Like the video. And comment below which Bruce Lee moment surprised you most.